Hello everybody, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Today I am finally sitting down to do a proper show and tell. This is going to be all of my favorite things or the things I've been enjoying or doing or whatever for the past couple of months because I'm a little behind on my monthly recap. So this is a 2-month recap. We're looking at September and October, and I'm probably going to chat for a while because it feels like forever since I've sat down in front of the camera just to talk to y'all. So usual disclaimers, this will be a long one. I really should just stop saying that. I feel like just welcome to my channel. I make long videos. Hello. Let's get into it. Let's start out today's chat with memories from September and October. And I'm going to do my best, but September and October are a bit of a blur. Mostly what I've been doing is working on the manuscript for the book that I'm writing for Llewellyn Publishing and working on the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. I guess I had this idea in my mind that when Francesca and I got through the artwork that it would just be like, click, click, couple buttons, off we go. I don't know why I thought that. There's a lot of behind the scenes things to do. Everything from laying out cards to working on the guidebook. I've really been mostly focusing in September and October on working on the guidebook, and I worked on some card layout stuff, so more on that in a few minutes. I've also been working on some future, mostly secret projects. I will be talking about those more when I can, but for now, just know there's a lot of legwork being done for the long term. So lots of things, kind of irons in the fire, I guess you could say. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's been really exciting and really awesome, but also I've been really focusing in on making significant progress on those things. I'm really trying to make sure that I can get the Unicorn's Journey Tarot to Kickstarter in the spring, and there's just a lot of moving parts to get to that point. So I've got some more things to figure out and I'm working on it, but my hope is that once it goes to Kickstarter, it's going to be as done as I can possibly get it on my own without your help. So that's the goal. I don't have a lot to report right now besides I'm working on things. I'm working on lots of things and it's been really great. But that's what I've been doing with all of my spare time. And of course, as most of you know, I work a full-time day job as well. So it's been a lot of good, but a lot. And I'm excited to see things starting to make really significant progress. And that's always really exciting, but I don't have anything to show for it right now. So that's where we're at this particular moment. On the YouTube front, I have had some fun collabs. I got to be on Benny the Fool's Apprentice channel. And we had a really lovely chat. I will link that down below for you, as well as anything else that I talk about. We had a really fun discussion. If you are not a subscriber of Benny's, please go check him out. He's sharing sort of his journey, learning the tarot and sort of coming into this space, and it's been really, really great. Benny's got a sweet soul, and it was a fun chat, so I encourage you to check that out. Of course, I had a really great time on 3 Fat Readers in September and October. In September, we talked about our decks for Descent. These are decks that sort of help us transition into the darker half of the year, and that was a really fun chat. And then we did a really great tag in October called Beloved Monsters Decks, which was created by Sylvie over at Fairlight Tarot, and it was so much fun, and I got to show like 10 whole decks, which I never get away with on 3 Fat Readers, so that was really great. And of course, Danny and Dustin and I had a great time, so I will have links to both of those videos as well down below. And the other collab thing that I did in the last couple months, of course, Dawn and I have been continuing with our Tarot in Practice series where we get together and we chat about just the meatier topics around our practice. I believe, if I remember correctly, that September we talked about our collections and sort of collecting habits and what that looks like in our practice and how it sort of interplays with our practice. And then in October we got together and talked about shadow work. So I will link both of those videos also down below. I have been watching a ton of TarotTube and have had just a really great time watching other people's tarot videos, but I have been even quieter than usual, so I haven't left a lot of comments. That being said, though, I am working on a little project to sort of do a better job of sharing with you the things that I'm enjoying on YouTube, on TarotTube, and just around the community, so I'm hoping to put that together and be able to share some of that with you in the next 1 to 2 months, we'll see. But I'm putting together something that will hopefully help me share more of those little tidbits that I come away from my time watching YouTube with. So I'm excited about that. That's another little mini project that I've got on the go, and I will keep you posted. I have a little section here in my show and tell where I can talk about magic, and this is going to sort of tie into the book that I was studying with the Unicorn Fam book club, but I did a little darkish magic, and it actually really is exciting to me. And this was not a recipe or anything that I got from the book that we've been reading, but I was inspired by the book we read to do something like this for my practice. So I created a death salt. So I don't know if I'm going to call it death salt or death powder. Look at my very rudimentary job here creating a little label. What I did was I went out, it's fall right now, It's fall right now, like you don't know what season it is. I guess we're not all in the same season, so that's fair. Anyways, it is fall and the leaves are falling where I'm at, and we've got a lot of beautiful changing colors in the trees. And I wanted to harness that energy of, it's a type of death when obviously the leaves are dying as they fall off the tree, but it's a transformative kind of death. It's a cyclical kind of death. And that's the sort of energy I wanted to tap into. So when Peggy and I went out for a walk, I gathered up some deadfall, leaves that had fallen but had not touched the ground. So these were leaves that fell into like surrounding bushes and sort of had naturally shed leaves. And so I collected some of those and I burnt those and turned them into absolute straight ash, while focusing on the intent to bring in that energy of letting go, of death, of anything where you want to do cycle breaking or cord cutting, that kind of thing. And I ground that in my mortar and pestle, again, continuing with my intention, and ground it up, and then mixed it in with salt, which also got ground. So the salt was actually turned into a fine powder, as was the ash, and it was combined into this mixture, which I will show you. It's very fine. It's very fine, so it kind of kicks up a little dust. I got to be careful, but this is what it looks like in the jar. But my intent with this was to have something really potent for work like cycle breaking work, for cord cutting work, for transforming and releasing negative habits or negative patterns. And I do a lot of work around that in my witchy practice. So this was a really cool thing to add to my repertoire. This is the kind of thing that can be incorporated into spell work, but it could also be incorporated into oils. It could be incorporated into all kinds of things because it's in a format that's really easy to combine in other ways. So I'm really excited about that. And it's just a neat thing to add to my practice. Again, I like to do a lot of work around release, letting go, cord cutting, that sort of thing. And this is just really great for that kind of thing. And I wouldn't have done it if not for the Unicorn Fam study group, book club. So I'll talk about that when we get to books. But this was just a really cool thing that came out of my practice in the last couple of months. And I haven't had a lot of time for like really like just potent ritual work, but that was something that I made time for. It was like the exact right time of year for it. I did it right the eve before Samhain, and it felt very potent and very rich and nourishing, and it was a good reminder to make the time for those kinds of things in my own practice. It's easy to let my own stuff go, and I talk a lot about the importance of self-care and prioritizing the self, but when it comes to the things that I'm working on right now, it's really easy for me to sort of shuffle those off to the side and just work on other things. So that was really great. Let's talk TV and movies. I have been really enjoying rewatching series that I've seen before. So around September, I finished my rewatch of Charmed, the original Charmed, not the new one. I've never seen it. I may at some point. Let me know if you have. Is it good? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm very attached to the old one. But I rewatched that in September, and I rolled that right into rewatching The Vampire Diaries, maybe through September and October. It's really great to watch shows that have that kind of seasonal vibe for me, but that I've already seen before. So I don't have to get too attached. I don't have to give it all of my attention, because I often play things like that in the background while I'm working on other stuff, and I just can't get attached right now. But I also just recently started a rewatch of the show Alias. So I will report back when I finish that, but that's a really fun one. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. But I used to have this like really awesome boxed set for it, which I at one point eventually let go. And I'm kind of a little sad, but then again, I don't really watch DVDs anymore, so, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I also got a chance to watch the newest season of Love is Blind. I buddy watched that with my friend Marlena, and we have a really great time watching that show and then pulling cards when it gets to the point where the couples are saying I do or I don't, basically at the altar. If you don't know the show, the premise is essentially like the idea of people trying to fall in love without seeing one another through sort of speed dating in like pods where they're separated by walls so they can't see. I'm terrible at describing this kind of thing. Maybe just look up a trailer. But the latest season was terrible. It was terrible. Still committed to watching it. It was terrible though. I really didn't like most of the cast, and it was a whole thing. The previous season's much better. I suggest if you're going to watch Love is Blind, the first 3 seasons, amazing. But I don't know what happened this last season. I think it was season 5. So the first 4 seasons were pretty good. Season 5 was no bueno. I do not recommend. But I still had fun watching it with Marlena, and we got a chance to buddy watch, I think, the reunion, and we also usually buddy watch the whole show, but we watch it like simultaneously while like chatting and pulling cards, usually the last couple of episodes. So that was a lot of fun I don't know when. We did that sometime in the last couple months. I couldn't tell you when though. And then I have managed to make a little bit of time to play some video games, one of which was such a wonderful, it was like a vacation from all the things that I've had on my plate. I sat down and played Gris. I will try to put some pictures up on the screen somewhere for you, like, so you can see it or put it in front of my face or something. This is the most beautiful, it's like an interactive art game. It was stunning, and the music, it was incredible. I played this on headphones on my iPad and with a controller, and it was the most breathtaking experience ever, and I bawled like a baby. It is a game that is tackling the subject of grief and moving through the different stages of grief, which is really kind of very depressing, but it's so beautiful that I really, really enjoyed the experience. It's one of those things that sort of stays with you. I probably will play it through again. It was so, so beautiful and such an escape. I really got immersed in it, and games that can really do that for me, it's literally like taking a vacation. It was so wonderful, and I had such a great time. But I think the whole game was like maybe 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. I don't remember exactly. It's a little bit puzzles. It's kind of slow paced, but I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not really that much of a gamer to be able to like explain it specifically, but it was so, so good. And then I also started playing Ooblets, which is a cozy game. I've been playing it on the Switch. I think you can also play it on PC, and maybe some other systems. I don't know, but it is so fun. It's kind of like a combination of like an Animal Crossing style, like, you know, you farm and you get to know your villagers in the town that you're in, but then you also have this like almost Pokemon-like mechanic where you're collecting these little Ooblets, only instead of like making them fight, they have little dance battles, and that's how you win them and collect them. It's really fun. I've also still been playing a little bit of Wildflowers, which I come and go with. The problem for me with Wildflowers is it's fully voice acted, which is amazing, but that means that I only play it when I'm giving it like 100% of my attention so I can hear all of the scenes. And a lot of times I will cozy game, like I'll play Farming Sims or whatever when I'm just like kicking back and watching something else, watching TarotTube or watching TV, and I can't do that if it's voice acted because then I want to hear everything. Seriously, it's just one of those things. But I do really enjoy Ooblets. It's been a lot of fun, and it's really cute. And if you like that kind of game, I definitely recommend you check it out. Another thing I wanted to share, there's two sort of random things that sort of came into my life in the last couple months that I'm really excited about and enjoying the heck out of, so I thought I would share. The first is this beautiful wooden goddess. This is from the Witch's Moon's Moon Market. This was in a box, a Witch's Moon box from, I think, a few months ago. I want to say maybe September or earlier, maybe August. I thought this was so stunning when I saw it. It's made out of wood. It's lightweight. I have been obsessed with her since I first saw her as people were unboxing their Witch's Moon box. I did not get the Witch's Moon box that this came in. I don't really need the incenses and the salts and the oils and those kinds of things right now, but this just really took my breath away. She's got a little rose quartz belly button too, which I love. But what I loved about her being wood is the idea that wood and anointing with oils just goes hand in hand. And I love working with my statuary or my goddesses and actually anointing them with oils, and I love the idea of anointing a wooden one, and so I just fell in love with her. So I ordered her just by herself from the Moon Market and got her in, and I am absolutely obsessed. She's beautiful. So this was one of those things that was made specifically for the Witch's Moon. I've never seen anything quite like her anywhere else, and I just think she's gorgeous. I love the little crescent moon on her head there, the way her arms come up over. Oh, I just love her. So she's a total favorite from the last couple of months. And the other favorite is a total self-indulgent luxury, but I cannot stop obsessing about it. And I've already mentioned it in other videos, but my Ember mug. So I got Peggy and I each an Ember mug. These are smart mugs. Look, it's steaming. How, can you even see that on camera? Oh my God. This is my Starbucks latte from like 2 hours ago, and I've just been slowly sipping on it and enjoying it. This is perfect for like my personality or my habits, I guess, around drinking coffee and tea, because I like to make myself a beverage like this and then I just nurse it over hours, but that doesn't work when it's constantly getting cold. This basically just keeps your drink at like the exact right temperature, and it is like hands down the best purchase I've made all year. I mean, I would probably be able to come up with some others that were also awesome this year, but like non-tarot related, definitely the best purchase all year. I love this thing. It's perfect for when I'm filming videos. Like, I'm sitting here. It's like show and tell time. I've already been talking for a while. My coffee, still the perfect drinking temperature. It's like, it's the best thing ever. Like literally the best thing ever. I've been carting this thing around to work. The reason my Starbucks is in it is because it was in my bag. So when we went to Starbucks, I just like poured my Starbucks cup into this. Yeah, keeps everything perfect. I just, obsessed. I'm going to shut up about it for now, but you'll probably hear about it again because when I like something, I tend to mention it more than once. I apologize in advance. All right, let's flip the camera around. We're going to talk about books and decks. Okay, I lied when I said I was going to talk about books and decks because I want to talk about my makeup first. So I'm going to show you, I actually restrained myself because I would have had like 10 bottles of nail polish or top coat to show you. I'm only going to show you my favorites from the last couple months that I enjoyed wearing. And I mean, I like all my nail polish, so the beauty section won't be terribly long, but if you want to click ahead, I may have timestamps. I don't know yet, we'll see. But you can at least click forward until I start showing decks and books and things. So nail polish. This is my little pretty favorites from September, October. So let's start off with, I've shown this one before. I got this in a polish pickup, which is a like sort of, it's like a bunch of indie nail polish brands create polishes to a specific theme, and then you can order from this like selection. I haven't ordered from them in a while because I kept getting dinged with customs for them, which makes it kind of pricey. But this is probably one of my favorites from the orders that I made through there. It's called Wet Spot, and this is by Sassy Sauce. The Sassy Sauce polishes, I've got 2 of them, are really pretty. They tend to have a lot of dynamics and texture to them. But this one is this really pretty like green gold burgundy shift polish. It's really pretty. So if you saw this on my nails, that's what that was. I love this. I'm obsessed with this. It's so pretty. I also wore, okay, so here, the struggle is real with matte nail polish, and maybe those of you who wear matte nail polish more often can help me understand, but for some reason when I wear matte nail polish, it just seems like it chips way faster. But I have this one, it's called Raven by Mooncat, and it's really, like you can see the dynamics of it. It's like this blackened purple. It's really beautiful. It's got a lot more texture than it looks in the bottle. It's really pretty. And then I also have the matte top coat called Matte Made in Hell. Yeah, Matte Made in Hell by Mooncat. So I actually did cover it with, it was already matte. This is a matte polish, so it dries matte. But I covered it with a matte nail polish top coat, and it still chipped. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it just shows dings and chips quicker because of the texture. I don't know. If you wear a lot of matte nail polish, I'd love you to weigh in, because I have a couple, and I'm tempted to just cover the ones that I have with glossy top coat, because for some reason, I don't know, matte nails just don't seem to, but it is pretty. It had this kind of velvety texture. I just really liked it. It just didn't stay looking nice very long, but I really enjoyed the effect. So it's still in my like favorites from the last couple months, but like, oh my gosh, it was just bugging me. I also wore 2 of my like sort of blackiest nail polishes, and I love both of these a lot. So I wore these closest to Halloween. The first one, this one's gonna run out on me, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do because I freaking love it so much. This is a Dior polish. Is it Dior? Black Perfecto. Do I forget what company? It's like one of those luxury companies, and I found this, I literally can't remember. Oh no, it's Guerlain. It's Guerlain. I don't know. It says on the bottle that it's Guerlain, but anyway, this shade is called Black Perfecto, and if I get it just right, it looks black, but when you shift it into light, it's got this like deep plum to it. Do you see that? But it's very subtle. It really does look like a really, like a blackened berry, like a really rich blackened berry. It's so pretty. But yo, there is like no nail polish in this bottle. Like it is, I've probably used half of it. I love wearing this in the darker half of the year. It's so pretty. I go to it again and again, and I just love it so much. They don't even make these anymore. These were their like Robe Noir polishes, and I've got 2 shades. I've got this one, which is Black Perfecto, and then I have one called Lilac Belt that is like also a favorite, and I've also used like, I'm like down to here on that one too. But somebody helped me. One of my viewers linked me. There's a way to buy these, but like it was through a site that I wasn't familiar with, and I just wasn't sure. So, but I still love this, and I'm obsessed. So if you see me in a really dark, in this color, that's what it is, and I love it. But then I also wore Zoya Storm. I found out about this shade through YouTube ages ago. I love Zoya polishes, and Zoya Storm is like this really pretty black, but it has this like shimmery, like hollow shimmer kind of built into the polish. And what that does is it gives it just this little bit of, again, texture. It's almost like a starry sky. I feel like my lights are reflecting, so you can't really see, but it is really beautiful, and I love this shade. So I wore that for Halloween. And then sometime in September, October, I can't remember which, I was wearing Holo Taco's, what is this called? Chameleon Coat. It looks green. Well, actually, it's funny because in camera right now, it's got that olive tone, but this shifts to like this kind of it's like an emerald that shifts olive. It's really hard to describe, but it can kind of look really grungy and cool. Let's see if you can see on the bottom of the bottle. Hollows are so hard to show on camera, but this is a really beautiful shade. So it is a multi-chrome, not a holographic, but it is beautiful and I love it. And I love hollow taco polishes as well. That's it. I tried to like rein it in. I didn't show you every single polish. And then I have a couple eyeshadow things that I want to show. So I actually dismantled my Natasha Denona Lila palette because a lot of the shadows in there just aren't, they're past their prime. Let's just put it that way. So I pulled out my very, very favorites and made 2 little 4-pan palettes with the shades that are still performing really nicely and sort of made these little color stories. And I wore these a bunch actually in September and October. So they've got a very similar vibe. This one's a little cooler toned and this one's a little warmer toned. But this one has this really pretty pink and sort of berry color. And then this one, these are gorgeous. These are my favorite shades of the entire palette, hands down. There's this really pretty nutty brown. These are the 2 mattes. And then these colors. I'm just going to swatch these because I literally can't not. They are a little bit, I'm just going to do all the shimmers because they're all really pretty. And these all have a little bit of a shift to them. Yeah, so you can kind of see. Those are all pretty dynamic shades, but having them in these little quads means I get to use them more often because every time I was reaching for the Lila palette, it was just like, that's so pretty. That one doesn't have a shift to it, but it's got a gorgeous like shine. But they are a little bit on the crumbly side these days. It just feels like, so they're definitely not performing the way that they were, but the other shades, there were some really like powdery shades because I've just had the palette too long. Pinky swatches are the worst, but that's basically, those are the shades. Yeah, they don't look as dynamic in these lights, but you can see after doing the swatches what's happening to my fingers. They're really quite pretty. The other palette I was really enjoying over the last couple months is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. This is so beautiful. So that is what the shades look like. They're gorgeous. These are like cool toned with a little bit of warm tones. You've got some warmer toned pinks, but none of it's like orange. It's all like this kind of mauvey, dusty rose kind of shade combined with these gorgeous like pewtery. Oh my God, they're so pretty. And then this shade and this shade are both kind of top coat shades. They're really thin and super wet look sparkly. You see that? Oh my God, they're so pretty. Let me just show you. I'll put this one, which was from, I forget which was which, but I'll just put them over top of these shadows. Like I just put it over that one and you can see, oh, maybe you can't see. That was, which one was which? I don't remember now. I think this was this one. Yeah. Okay. That's how I did it. I'll just do a fresh swatch so you can see. They're really like thin and sparkly, like top coaty, but they're very wet. So they're up here. Oh, is this camera going to like wash them out? Probably. I don't know if you can see. There's this shade and this shade. They're so pretty. Oh my God. Okay. But really the colors that I am obsessed with are these like sort of taupey browns. Oh my God. These 2 right here. Oh my God. They're so pretty. Let me just put them here so you can see. So I've been really enjoying both of these, and both of these look incredible with those top coats over top. So let me just continue to wipe my fingers here and just top one of them so you can see what I mean. So like, let me take this one, right, and put it over top of this brown and just look what it does. Like it just makes it wet and super shiny. And I'm going to take this pink and put it over this one. Like, look what happens. Oh my God, they're so pretty. And the center shade, oh my God. Like all the shades are pretty. This one up here, Whisper, is really pretty. This one up here, Traverline. Clearly I don't pay attention to the name of the shades, but this center shade, Muse, is like crushed metal. It's really gorgeous. Where do I put that? Let's put it right here. Look at that. Look how wet it looks. It looks like it's already been topped. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Anyways, this is a really great palette and every single shade I love, which doesn't always happen with eyeshadow palettes. Sometimes it's like you put on an eyeshadow palette and like you like half of them and it's still worth it because like by the time you pay for half, you just get the other shades for free kind of thing. But oh my gosh, I love every single shade in here and I've worn almost all the shades already and I just love it. But clearly I'm still like trying to wipe it off. Oh my God, so pleased with that one. I have had so much fun, and this is probably almost beat out my Glam palette by Natasha Denona, which has a lot of cool shades, but Oh my gosh, this is really, really beautiful. So if you like eyeshadow, and these are the ones, the reason I was able to dismantle my Lila palette by Natasha Denona, which was the big one. These are like little Makeup Geek empty quads that I had. The reason I was able to dismantle them is because Natasha Denona does her packaging so you can pop the shadows out and move them into like mini palettes or rearrange the shades into whatever you want, or, you know, carry them around with you, mix and match, which I really like. So it makes it really easy if like part of the palette isn't performing or you don't like it as much, you can kind of change it up, right? So love that. That brings us to books. So let me talk about the books I've been spending all of my time on in September and October. So throughout September and October, I was really focused in on Of Blood and Bones. This is a book by Kate Fruhler. Forward is by Matt Oren, and we were reading this for the Unicorn Fam channel membership book club. If you're interested in book club, it's pretty simple. We just we vote on a book. It's open to all tiers of my channel membership. We pick a book, we read the book, we discuss the book at the end of that period. So we read over 2 months so that nobody has to feel rushed, and you can do other things, read other things, or you can just, if you're a slow reader, you have time. And then we get together for a live stream discussion where people can join me on camera, or I can just host it, whatever, you know, if people join, they join. If they don't, they don't. It's just super casual and fun. And this is the book we were reading, and this is really what ultimately inspired me to make this death powder that I was talking about. It wasn't so much that there was a recipe in here that I wanted to follow, or rather a spell I wanted to follow. It was that there was a lot of practices that just made me think about the benefits of working with that kind of energy in a intentional way, but in a way that worked for me in my practice. There's a lot in here that didn't work for me because it gets pretty like intense into certain types of workings, but there was a few bits I really enjoyed. I liked this section in the book that talks about like the elements and some of the darker things that are associated with the elements. I also really enjoyed yes, this is partly what inspired the death powder. So this is actually a base recipe for something called death oil. And then there's also something here for witch's salt. But the idea of the death oil was really fascinating to me, but I didn't love the way that it was constructed here in the book. And then one of our channel members mentioned that she had made her own death oil, but she'd changed it up, and she shared with us in the memberships what she'd done. And I really liked that she had made it her own, and it just kind of like, the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to do that kind of thing. There's also a really great section in here on dream interpretation, if you're interested in that kind of thing. And also a really fantastic tarot spread, which I marked, but I'm not going to give the whole thing away, but there is a tarot spread in here that is literally about, it's a dark moon tarot consultation, but I loved the spread idea and the spread that was in here. There's a lot of little good tidbits. I think it's a really interesting book to read if you're interested in sort of darker workings, but you're curious, but you want to get another perspective on it. This goes darker than I'm personally comfortable in the magic, but it was really interesting to get that perspective. This was probably my favorite part of the entire book, which basically is just talking about how to self-examine before you do any kind of malefic magic on anybody else, to sort of look at maybe how you're contributing to the situation at play, that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of responsibility in that, which I appreciate. It was a really interesting read, and I'm glad books like this exist so we get a glimpse into other practices. It wasn't entirely for me, but I definitely got some good takeaways from it. So that was Of Blood and Bones by Kate Fruhler. But honestly, the book I'm spending most of my time with is this one. So we're only about halfway into our deck study, but the Unicorn Fam is studying Tarot of Vampires by Ian Daniels, and as part of that, I'm really deep diving into the book Phantasmagoria. As you can see, mine is marked the heck up in multiple places. I am really enjoying diving into this. There's a lot here. I'm like highlighting the crap out of it and like putting sticky notes in and marking quotes and doing all kinds of things. Really excited to get together with the Unicorn Fam and talk about this at the end of November. Gosh, I feel like time is going so fast. But this is really, really, really good. I have talked about Tarot Vampires in sort of a long deep dive that I did as a live stream that you can watch on my channel if you're interested in that. But the Unicorn Fam and I are having a great time reading this and studying the deck, and I'm really enjoying going through it. So that has been a lot of fun. I don't have it to show because I've been reading it on my Kindle, but I also am just finishing up. I'm not all the way done yet, but I am just finishing up the Blood Alliance series of books by Lexi Foss. It's like a dark romance series. The first book is called Chastely Bitten, and I found out about it from Danny Mystic, and it has been a fantastic series. That has been my bedtime read for like months now because I've been reading all the books. I'm on the 4th book and the fourth and final book now. And there's been a great plot line running through it. I've been really, really having a lot of fun with that. So that's one that I think if you're interested in dark romance or paranormal romance, there's like a vampire human like hierarchical thing, and there's werewolves and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So that's been fun as well. And that brings us to decks. Okay, so the first deck I want to talk about, which probably makes perfect sense, is the Tarot of Vampires. As I mentioned, because we're studying this, I have been in this deck a lot in the last month. It is perfect for this time of year, first of all, but it's been great to work with it and really get to know it, get comfortable pulling cards from it on the regular. I really enjoy it. I have to say I would have never picked it for its art style, which is no shame to the artist, but as I've been studying this deck, I have been wowed time and again by just how much intentionality is in this artwork. The astrological symbols, the colors, the synchronicities, the little Easter eggs that are tucked away, everything from this, like the Lover's card, the female vampire here is wearing the red necklace of the Emperor. Oh my gosh, I always mix it up. Like the Emperor and the Empress are wearing these red and green heart necklaces, or these red and green hearts are visible on their cards. I forget which is which. Anyways, they're wearing them here. And it's just a really cool tie-in. And there's a ton of stuff like this throughout this deck. So I think a lot of people, it's not necessarily, yeah, here's the Emperor and he's got the red one, right? So in this Lover's card, I already lost it, there it is. She's wearing the red one, and he's wearing the green one, which is the Empress's stone. So there's a lot of really just cool things. But like then there's cards like this where I'm like, this dude though is like 80s hairband to me. But it's really great. I've really been enjoying it. There's a lot of meaning in all the images. It really pulls you into its world and into its vibe. And I genuinely enjoy this deck. It is, to date, my favorite vampire deck. I really love it. And I feel like if I'm going to go into this world, I want to go deep into it, you know? And yes, this one has a lot of stereotypes. It definitely reminds me of like Anne Rice vampires, and there's an eroticism too that sort of runs through this deck. Actually makes a beautiful companion to the, what am I trying to say? I was going to say makes a beautiful companion to the Blood Alliance books, but then again, maybe not. Because the Blood Alliance has more of a, I think more of maybe Charles Harrington's vampire deck vibe to it. A little more elegant, a little bit less goth, for sure. But still, love this deck. It's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying really, really deep diving into it and getting to know it a lot more closely. And, oh my gosh, I totally should have talked about this in the memories. Peggy made special bags for the Unicorn fam for the Tarot Vampires out of this fabric that was bought just for that purpose, and it's really awesome. So love that. It's like this really cool gothic fabric where it's this beautiful design, but when you look at it closely, there's bats sort of tucked into the imagery. It's really cool. There was a couple of Oracle decks that I want to sort of shout out that I've really been enjoying in September and October. The first of these I want to mention is the Maven Oracle. So the way that I work with these Seasons of the Witch oracles is I start working with them on the Sabbath that they are associated with, and I work with them for the season of that Sabbath. So I've actually been working with the Seasons of the Witch Maven Oracle since Maven, and I only stopped the, like my last pull from this was the day before Samhain. And I find that I really enjoy working with the Sabbath energy in this way, and I'm tempted, even though there isn't a Season of the Witch deck for every Sabbath yet, I am tempted, I love these orange backs and orange edges. If I could finish a sentence for myself here, I'm tempted to always have an Oracle deck sort of assigned to the season until I have all 8 of the Seasons of the Witch, because I really love just having something to sort of anchor the energy of the season for me. And so I worked with this all through September, well, I guess the second half of September, the second bit of September, and all of October, from Maven onward, obviously. And I really love this one. There is an artist change for this deck, so, but I find that it works perfectly well. The vibe of the deck stayed the same, as it really fits in with the rest of them. I don't feel like it's disjointed at all. And a lot of people I've noticed seem to really enjoy the phrases on the Maven Oracle. It's a little bit less, not less poetic, but it's certainly more straightforward than in some of their other decks. But this is really beautiful, and I really enjoy working with it, just again, to sort of anchor the season, and I really enjoy the entries in the guidebook. So that is the Seasons of the Witch Maven Oracle, which actually, cards can go on the bottom because this is now away for the year. And I love that I've got it in this like fall, autumn leaves bag. It was so perfect for the season. The other Oracle deck that has been just knocking my socks off over the past couple of months is the Solitary Witch Oracle. This is by Lucy Cavendish with artwork by Lady Victoria. And oh my gosh, When I tell you that this deck totally stole the show during my Unicorn Fam channel member readings, I do a live stream where I'm live for like 6, 7, 8 hours, depends on how many readings I'm doing for my magical and badass unicorn tiers in my membership. And I pulled this in, and I admitted in a video at some point, maybe my recent deck roundup, that I bought this mostly for the aesthetics. I could not pass up these gorgeous foiled pentacle backs. Like, I was willing to just give it a try no matter what, just for the backs, which I realize super superficial, but there you go. But when I tell you the meanings from this book are like, they give you goosebumps, or well, they give me goosebumps, and they make me emotional, and they're very heartfelt, and they're very deep, and they feel incredibly meaningful and on point. This deck, doing pulls from this deck and reading from the guidebook during member readings it literally stole the show. In September was when we did that, and it just, oh my gosh, it just blew us all away. There's so much depth to this deck. It is certainly not the kind of thing that I feel like is super easy to pull and just get the message from the title on the card. I wish it had had some keywords, but then again, maybe I don't, because the beauty of this deck is, of course, the gorgeous artwork, but it's the way that the messages read. Lucy Cavendish's writing in here is just, it's beautiful. And the way that it reads, I think the fact that the titles make you want to look it up in the book is part of the perk of this deck, which is opposite of what I normally say. I really prefer to have keywords right on the cards, but that also has me working with decks a little quicker. When I have to sit and really think or read the entry in the guidebook, I take my time in a different way with Oracle decks, and this one really invites me to slow down like that, and I've really, really, really been enjoying this. It's just perfect for this time of year, and I'm not ready to put it away yet. So this is going to be staying out on my reading table for a while yet. Just for personal draws for myself. It's just so, so beautiful, and I'm really, really enjoying it. October's Magical and Badass Unicorn member readings was more special because I finally have in my hands a test print of the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. So this is my favorite forever. like just get used to seeing this design, because you're going to see it a lot. This is actually the design from the back of the cards. So what you're looking at is a custom tin from Make Playing Cards. I just printed a little test copy of my deck so I could have a working copy. But let me just tell you, I hate these tarot size tins. Like, it's perfectly nice quality, but for some reason, a mini deck in a tin, it seems cute and like portable and like kind of adorable. Like, here's like a mini in a tin. Like, here's the White Sage Tarot. Like, it just feels really portable. But these bigger tins, I don't know why, but they just feel like, it feels like I'm carrying a brick around. I don't like it. But I have been keeping the deck. I have 2 test prints that I did for the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, and the test print that has become my working copy that lives at home is living in the tin, and the one that I'm carrying around with me is actually in one of Peggy's bags because it's more compact and it doesn't feel so brick-like, so it's easier to toss in my bag. But I don't know, like, this is not about the tin, but I just thought it'd be fun to have a tin to keep my like personal copy in, at least until I've got a proper copy. But no, it's mostly just really annoying. So I think I can show you a few cards without spoiling anything. So there's the backs. Okay. So this is just a test print from Make Playing Cards, but when I tell you, I pulled this into my October member readings and was reading with it for members, and oh my gosh. It is the most astounding experience to read with a deck that I've created, and it lets me sort of test it and make sure that it's translating the way that I want it to translate. And oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get this into all of your hands. This is just, it's the most incredible experience. And again, this is just like a basic prototype sort of, it's not even a proper prototype for the printer that I'm going to use. This is a test print, but this is sort of what the layout of the cards look like. And this is a lot of what I was working on in September. So I created these banners. I actually created these myself, the texture of them, the color of them, the whole bit, and like kind of laid this out. And then the little suit symbol you see here on the King of Water, that little cup, is hand drawn by Francesca. I asked her to create me a set of suit symbols, the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith suit symbols, so that we could pop them on the cards, so that when you're in the water suit or the earth suit or the air suit or the fire suit or whatever, you can see what suit symbol it is. So you don't have to remember that cups are water. It's right there for you as a reminder. So this is what the 2 of air looks like. And we have a little sword there. There's another water card. There's a major arcana. So the major arcana doesn't have the little spot for the symbol because it doesn't need it. Make sure I'm not spoiling. There's the 8 of fire. So if you are curious about all of the artwork, then the best way to see everything is to make sure that you're on the newsletter, where I am keeping everybody updated. I have been releasing card art as we go. So if you want to be the first to see new card art reveals, you'll want to make sure that you are subscribed. Oh, I'm so excited about this deck, you guys. I just can't. I mean, there's my 5 of Fire. And I know this deck like no other. I've talked a lot about how it's helpful to have a deck that's associated with like a movie or a book or a fandom that you're attached to, because then you can read all these extra layers into it. But the whole point of the Unicorn's Journey Tarot is that there's a story attached, and the story will be in the guidebook. And so it just sort of lets you intimately get to know the characters. And in getting to know them, you get this other layer, like you know what's happening in the story. And that just adds so much richness to readings. It's just, oh, it's incredible. Anyways, so of course, when I pulled this into monthly member readings in October, this definitely was the one that people requested the most. And it was so much fun to read with. And I'm like reading for myself with it constantly now. But that was a lot of fun. However, I also pulled in spooky decks. So I wanted to show those because this was really the only time spooky decks got play on my channel in the month. So I really, really, really want to share them. So these are my favorite spooky decks. Now, first of all, I'm going to briefly just show the Seasons of the Witch Samhain. I have just started working with this as of Samhain though. So it's only been in rotation a little bit. This was the first Seasons of the Witch Oracle deck that I got, but I did pull this into my October monthly member readings so that it was available for people for our October readings. And it was a lot of fun to pull in. I love the tones of this one, and there's something really magical about this first deck in the series. And this first one, if I recall, was actually originally an independent deck, and then it got picked up for mass market, and it sort of kicked off this whole series of Seasons of the Witch decks. But I love that deck, and it did get a chance to come out and play a little bit during member readings. And then the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore is such a quintessential like Halloween deck. I love this so much. It's just really fun. I actually worked with this deck with reversals. It was really fun to factor that in. It's very much like a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. At least I think I used reversals, or are the reversals from Peggy? I have been doing reversals occasionally in my member readings. But this is just like, it's people in costumes. It's like classic Halloween. And this is like my Halloween deck. Like, I know for a lot of people, it's that Halloween Tarot, the one that you can get in the tin. And I had that deck for a while, but I never really bonded with it. But this is like, it's just fabulous because you get 2 layers to work with, right? You can work with the sort of essential meaning of the card in its like Rider-Waite-Smith like usual meaning. But you can also dig into whatever the costume is and what layer that adds to the meaning of the card. Like here we have the Headless Horseman. You just get all kinds of things. You can have like, this is so cute. I love the 4 of Cups. It's a really adorable deck. And there's a lot going on in the guidebook. Look at Cruella with her little Dalmatians. Oh my God. Amazing. This must have been so much fun for Barbara Moore to design and plan and work on, because it's just great. It's just a fabulous Halloween deck. And now I need to like finish writing all my cards because I just can't put them away like that. So that is the Trick or Treat Tarot, and I will never, ever, ever get over this perfect bag match. Like, it has the hints of pops of purple in it. It literally says Trick or Treat on it. It literally has October 31st on it. It's perfect. Where does it say Trick or Treat? Because I know it says it on here somewhere. Did I make that up? I don't think I made it up, but maybe it's not on my part of the fabric. Either way, it's perfect. Look at it. It's perfect. So that is the Trick or Treat Tarot. And then, of course, Halloween time is a perfect time to pull out the Boo Tarot. Although I think this is a great deck for multiple times of year. It does have those spooky, not spooky, but like fun, ghosty vibes for the season. But I hate the cardstock. I literally can't shut up about it. It's just so squishy. I don't have any other decks that feel like this. I don't know what it is, but look how like warped it is from the shuffle, and it's like got an S curve. I've just never had a deck behave like this, and it's such a shame because it's so stinking cute. It really deserved a better quality cardstock, and it's a bummer. But I just keep wanting to like fix it somehow. But it's so squishy. But I mean, it's also so adorable. The artwork is exquisite. It's just darling and really pulls you into its world. And I love the like little details, the little sparkly, shiny details in the Major Arcana. I think that was a really great touch. I just would have preferred to have it on something better so that my light use, because I don't use this deck heavy, right? Like I definitely shuffle it, like I riffle it. So it's not like I'm gentle with it. I don't mean that, but I mean, it's just, it flops. I don't know if you can even hear it, but like it kind of flops. Anyways, I don't know. I'll shut up about it, but it's just not aesthetically pleasing to use as far as like tactilely pleasing, but it's so beautiful. But I did enjoy reading with it. I think that's the thing. It's really fun to pull out at this time of year. I like it. It's just, I just wish it was on better cardstock. So that is the Boo Tarot. Really adorable. And this little Boo bag that I have it in is got glow-in-the-dark ghosties. I think Peggy may still have 1 or 2 of these in her shop, but it was the perfect match for this. My favorite deck, arguably, to pull out every Halloween is the Zombie Tarot. I'm also obsessed with this bag match for it because it was literally the perfect fabric, and I like whined at Peggy to cut out these pinups, these zombie pinups, and put the one on either side of the bag because I'm a princess. But that's totally the vibe, and I like the, I have it paired with the little Zombie Oracle by Orshi. I don't think I used the Zombie Oracle this year, though. I think I just used the Tarot. But this is so much fun to read with. It's got a great sense of humor. It is just a fan-freaking-tastic deck. The cardstock on this also isn't awesome. It's got kind of a funky, cardboardy, kind of stiff feeling to it, but mine's pretty broken in, and I don't really mind it as much anymore. But it's, I mean, it's not warped. It's not floppy. I guess I'd rather have a stiff deck than a floppy deck. There's a dirty joke in there somewhere, I'm quite sure. But anyways, this is great. It's got it really, you can tell somebody who knew tarot put this together. The meanings are really perfectly like expressed in the illustrations, but there's also so much like humor, and it's just a fantastic deck. It was also a really great deck to use during the world plague times. And it's really great when I'm feeling like dramatic, like when I'm feeling like everything is terrible or the sky is falling. It's such a great deck because it really just, it kind of like puts things back into perspectives really nicely. And it just, I don't know, it grounds me somehow. You wouldn't think so, but it's just fabulous. And I feel like it kind of brings empowerment back in when life is kind of kicking your butt. It's really great for that. But I do always love, love, love pulling it out every October. So it definitely got a chance to play a bit. And the other deck that I've really been using and enjoying a fair amount in October is the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. This has just been a really fun and lighthearted deck for me to work with. I've just been enjoying doing some simple card pulls from this. I like working with the keywords. I like working with the art. I enjoy it. It's got this like gothic-y vibe, but it's got so much sass and personality too. The first time I worked with this deck, I just did not get on with it, but I've really been enjoying it. I've really been enjoying it lately. Yeah. It's cool. I feel like my beef with this deck is that I feel like better choices could have been made with the artwork, but I enjoy the format. I love the purple borders. I love the purple gilding. I like the keywords are on there. I think that it just kind of makes the deck more usable than it probably would have been if it just had the card titles on here. I feel like there's something about Jasmine Beckett-Griffith's artwork that's like really beautiful to look at, but can sometimes be difficult to connect to. And so that keyword kind of becomes the bridge for me, and it works out really, really well. So I've been enjoying reading with that one also. That's been kind of just sitting near me a lot in the last couple months. So mostly October, but it's definitely been nearby. So that's it, y'all. I would turn around face forward again, but I'm about to film another video in a minute, so I'm just going to keep the camera here and call it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I would love to hear what you've been enjoying and working with in the last couple months. So if you feel like sharing, drop that in the comments below. Let us know what you've been enjoying, what you've been reading, what you've been working with deck-wise, or maybe some of your favorite makeup and nail polish. You know I want to hear about it. Let me know down below. What are some things you've been loving? But thank you so much, most of all, just for hanging out with me. I really appreciate the company. I appreciate the opportunity to just sit here and get to chat with y'all. As always, an extra big thank you goes out to my Unicorn Fam channel members. Thank you so much for supporting what I do here. It makes such a huge difference, and I couldn't be more grateful for your presence and your support. For everybody here watching, I am so thankful that you spend time here on the channel. This would not be fun if y'all weren't here to share it with me. So thank you so much for hanging out. As always, thank you for your likes and your comments and your subscribes. Those things help. Only about half the people actually who watch this channel are subscribed. So subscribe and get more content like this. I love to talk about tarot and all things adjacent to tarot, so yeah, just hang out with me if you want. And there's going to be more updates and more surprises and more things like this in the future if all goes according to plan. So stay tuned, and I will see y'all in the next one. Until then, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye!